All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. My name is Bison, aka BisonTrades. Welcome to another episode of RareFUD Radio. Make sure you're following us on all our socials, on Twitter, on YouTube, on all your podcast platforms. We do have a link tree. I will leave that in YouTube as well as the description, as well as on Twitter, just so you have a convenient place to access everything. Reminder, we do have Twitter Spaces every Friday. We'll be having another one this Friday, noon Eastern Standard Time. We'll be having a lot of market talk, catching up with you guys, answer any questions you might have. And we got a special guest on today. You know him as Shake. He is the founder of Cyber Samurai. I've had him on the YouTube channel before, but it's nice to have him on RareFUD. He has been one of our day one supporters and just a great guy. He's an OG founder. I completely brought up Cyber Samurai into a household name that has some of the best supporters and best community within the space. Talking about best community, best co-hosts, we have Dorian with us. Dorian, how you doing, my man?
Yo, back again, man. Every day's a holiday, dog. Unfortunately, it's not Christmas, but you know what? It's like Thanksgiving because we're eating because Shake's coming on the show.
That's right. It's always a fun time talking to Shake. Very knowledgeable of the space and just a great overall guy, like our next co-host. What up, Joe? How you doing, man?
Oh man, y'all, it's just too nice. Thank you guys. Yeah, it's another one, guys. I mean, what episode is this? 18 already? I can't believe it. But yeah, excited to talk about the market. Shake is a legend. Excited to pick his brain today on some topics, and yeah, have a good time today.
Yeah. So before we bring on Shake, let's talk a little bit about just a market update. We always do this every episode. Volume is less than 100K. For the past couple days, we did have a little spike. I think that was from the hate swap drop of Lunar. So Lunar is brought to you by OpenDAO. They have a collab with CryptoPunks. We'll be talking a little bit about them with Shake later in the show. But besides that, it's been pretty stagnant as far as volume goes. It's trickling down. Do we see 50K, guys? Do we see 30K? I mean, like, what's your opinion here? How we feeling? Let's go with Dorian first.
Oh, yeah, dog. We're going to see 50K and 30K. Easy. No doubt, man. Unless, like, the only thing that's going to bring back life to this market is Utes, pilots, or some other project that comes out of nowhere, like that, or even one existing, launching something cool. But between now and then, don't expect too much. Like, I think we're going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel for content here pretty soon.
Yeah, absolutely. Joe, how you feeling, bro? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, man, I think we're seeing a natural rinse because of the lack of external liquidity, which is cool. I've been like just picking up some blue chip plays. I really believe like 6 month minimum in lately. Just finding those those two right now. I've had my fun. I know the liquidity's gone. Not scalping anymore. It's pointless. There's no volume to sell into. I told you the waves are there. Sell into waves. Now time's to accumulate, right? Build your position. So, I looked at a few things today, and some SPL plays are juicy as well. And I think that it's a good time to practice some delayed gratification and set yourself up from positions of strength. I don't think this is the time to be upset about. I just think this is time to be excited about. These are the times you actually make the real money from, So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's just sitting on your hands sometimes. We'll be talking about, market updates. We'll be talking about Magic Eden here later with, they're losing market share right now. But before we do, let's give an intro to Cyber Samurai and Shake. So Shake dropped Cyber Samurai on Radium. I do have an interview with him if you want to see kind of the backgrounds and history of it. Really want to bring on Shake, one, because he has great market perspective, and two, talk about what Cyber Samurai is doing in the market, what they got coming up, everything like Soosh. But they did drop on Radium. They're an OG project on the Radium drop zone. I think they're one of the only projects that still are around to do so. Started as pixel art, was never really the end goal though. We now have the Tensei ceremony where we got to burn our old Gen 1s into Gen 2s, the Tensei collection. And it was such a fun process, dude. I will never forget the feeling of Tenseiing all 12 of mine. Ended up picking up 3 more. I'm sitting on 15 still. So just not financial advice or anything. I do have exposure. Dorian definitely has exposure. Joe has exposure. We do love Cyber Samurai here. But Tensei Ceremony is part of the SaaS arm of Cyber Samurai with Soleil and everything in between. We'll be talking to Shake about that. But let's bring him on. The man, the myth, the legend. Shake, how you doing, man? What's going on?
What up, boys?
How's it going?
RareFUD, baby.
Yo, what's going on, man?
Dude, I'm tripping out about the Yuga
Happy to have you on, dog.
You're tripping out about Yuga Labs. We'll be definitely talking about Yuga
We're
Labs.
talking about it, man.
Stuff. Yeah, it's everybody's gonna be tripping out about it. That's why we're here, to give you level-headed analysis of it. We'll be talking significantly about it and man, it's always right before we go on to a show, they like dropping breaking news and stuff like that. So give us like an hour or two to prepare any talking points. But nonetheless, I'm sure we all have our bullet points kind of written out on a napkin or something like that. Before we get into that, though, Shake, I want to talk about Cyber Samurai. I mean, like, dude, what a journey it's been. It's been over a year now. We just celebrated your anniversary last month. Talk to us a little bit. What's the current state of the project? How's everything going?
Bro, it's going well, man. I mean, yeah, it's going well, dude. Like, Dorian's been a huge help in helping me like simplify what we're doing and like focus on the right things. And we've been I got inspired to I don't know, I started taking a step back and looking at the business and like trying to remember things that I learned from my previous jobs. And like at the last startup I was working at, it was really we were really obsessed with data and like metrics. And so I started doing that, and it's been really helpful to kind of like validate some of the things that we're doing or invalidate, like, oh, like we think this is cool, but it's not working. So, the data says so. So that's been like the past month. We've just been like really hammering home on like a couple key points. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, I think it's good finding that clarity, because Shake, I know you're kind of like me, where I get on to like 7 different things at once, and I'm so hyped up about them at all times. I'm like, yeah, let's go head first in there. Let's go head first in there. And I get like halfway through And sometimes it's nice to have somebody like Dorian who will kind of realign you and be like, no, bro, like why are we spending so much time on these 7 things? Let's focus on like 3 things and let's do them really well, right? And I know it's been fun to watch it. Path Protocol's taken off. We got 4 projects on there now, with Bet3, with ABC, with Nekozuma, and The Boys, right? The Boys is the last one. I think they were your first.
We don't have ABC. I need to take ABC down from it.
Okay.
Yeah, I could talk about that, but yeah. They announced staking, so we're not going to be able to do that.
That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so no ABC.
We had ABC. It just didn't fully go through. But the fact that they were in talks with them more than a lot of things. So yeah.
Yeah. Are you? So do you want to give any alpha? Are you talking to other people? Like, do we have a number? Do we want to name names or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, like a cool name drop. Like I talked to the Golden State Warriors, the guy who handles all their NFT projects, but they're not gonna be able to use it yet because they have an exclusive deal with FTX. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to. I think there's like a really good use case for this. Like so far, it's all like what I would call Web3 native projects. Like they are NFT businesses, like Web3 based businesses so far. But what I think there's like a huge market of like regular companies that have NFTs and have no use for them and have no way to like engage the holders of these NFTs. And so that's what I'm trying to like use those connections that I have outside of crypto and get them on Path. But it's very much like a network effects thing. So right now we just have 3 customers and like we're definitely in that like first hump. And I think once we get like 20 customers, it's going to be, 10 customers, 20 customers, it's going to start to like flow really quickly. So it's just grind mode, like business development right now.
Yeah, it feels like it because once we saw the boys, it was kind of like okay, and then we got like an onslaught, right? I mean, we saw 3 more, and it is one of those snowball effects where you just start rolling it downhill, and everybody starts catching wind of what's going on. I have a question for you, Sheikh. When it comes to these projects, managing their raffle prizes, because raffles as a service is one of the key components to the offering with Path. Do you guys manage that, or is that on the project, like the other project, the customer side?
So most the customers we have now, they manage it, but like we could do it. But the base fee that we have, like the super cheap version, is like they manage it. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I was curious because and this is just imploring people who are Path customers or anybody who is looking to go into Path, make sure that you are managing your raffles. You're paying for nothing if you aren't like getting the community hyped about.
Was somebody not managing it? Was Jet fucking up?
I mean, I'm not calling out names, but yeah, I'm in, bro. I'm in. Yeah, it was Cody and Jet. I looked at both of them today. I was like, hey, I want to make sure like I'm not missing any raffles that are like super awesome or anything like that. And both of them don't have anything up right now. So I was looking in the Discord for Bet3, which goodness gracious, I feel so bad. Like luckily we have a really good community at Cyber Samurai. I feel like we're way past that like win phase, and we just have like the diamond-handed people now. But I forget because I don't really go into Discords anymore. But I went into Bet3s, and goodness gracious, it has been not even 20 days for that project, and they're asking like, win this.
Be careful in there, Bison. They'll hurt your feelings in there, brother.
Oh, bro,
I go in there with some tough skin.
They ain't hurting my feelings, bro. I'm not a founder, and that's why I'm not a founder. That is a hard job to do, is managing expectations. And Cody's a grinder, dude. He's behind the scenes and stuff. So like,
I love Cody.
It's hard having that transparency, and Soul feels like it's one of those that platform that they're always asking for updates, dude. Like ETH people are just like happy if you come out with something a month, and whereas Soul's like, why haven't you talked to us in the past 10 minutes? Like what's going on here? And it's, I feel for him, man. So, it is one of those things though, that going back to our original point, make sure if you're a Path customer, put up raffles. That is one of the services you're providing, right? So keep them engaged. That is one of my favorite things is like, deciding to ape in on one thing and winning a raffle. Feels real good.
Hey, and I wanted to touch on one thing before we moved on, Bison, was that like what Shake said, like him grinding and them having like 3 strict customers right now is so dope, because like it's very true. Like it's slowly one by one and then all at once for emerging markets, for new projects, for anything. Like, and you have the guts and the brains to really get yourself in the infrastructure to where you can outlast that period. And like that's what you guys have done in a year. Like you've shown it, and like you're just now getting not even close to the pinnacle. So I just think that's really cool to hear, like the little nuances and how and things you drop, like when you subconsciously speak, bro. That's beautiful to see from a founder.
Good, I appreciate that. Yeah, like the comparison that like I was making in my head. A lot of you guys were around early, but like very early on, like the Discord verification tool that everybody used was Grape, and it was like a hassle to use it, and it was like free. It was kind of weird, right? And then Matrica came along, and like Matrica is not even like, honestly, it's not even that great of a product, and their customer service isn't that great either. The pricing isn't great. Like there's a lot of things that aren't great with it, but they have 1,000 customers. And it's just like, that's kind of I think what like my goal is like to like, yeah, right now it's like this, people are like, oh, like, how do we trust these guys? Like, why do we want to use their thing? But then once you get over that hump, it starts to become like normal for every new project to come out, for the holders to be like, hey, when are you going to get this? When are you going to get this? And so I want to get to that point, because once you get to that point, like my job developing business becomes like really easy. It's just automatic.
Yeah. It's all word of mouth at that point, you know, or like seeing is believing, where you have 1,000 examples versus just 3 niche examples. Whereas when those projects get bigger too, it is a network effect. I mean, it's one of the best things about Web3. So I'm excited. Obviously, I love the platform. That is my favorite staking platform of all time, because it stays in your wallet. I've said it for a long time. Soft staking is the future. If you aren't having it in your wallet, if you're not seeing it every day, because I open up my wallet every single day and make sure I'm checking out everything, your project isn't top of mind. If you're not top of mind, what are you doing, right? Like I cannot tell you how many NFTs I probably have out in some terrible staking website that I've just completely forgot about. It's probably like close to 50 SOL or something like that minimum of the projects that have just withered and died. So I love the platform. You know, talk to us a little bit about Soosh. We got Soosh airdrops. We got first round and then second round just recently.
Soosh,
you know, I know Dorian has been saying that 6 is the key. Do we have any alpha on Soosh? Anything coming up? Anything you want to divulge?
Nothing that's like not public information yet. I mean, yeah. So, nothing like secret, bro. Like no secret alpha. But like, yeah. I mean, basically, what it is, right? It's the airdrop that you get from putting having the samurai in staking, and it's like level based. And what we've said so far is that, yeah, if you have 6 of them, you get a free mint of this new collection that we're designing, which we just haven't said anything about yet. We haven't even announced the name or the Twitter. And then we have some more stuff planned for after that, which is like, so we have like Soosh plans like for the next, like, I don't know, 8 months. Like we haven't really far planned ahead to kind of like, because like obviously, you know, there's things that you learn like as a trader in NFTs where it's like, oh, like people like dump after an airdrop or like dump after whitelist or whatever. And so we're kind of trying to like fuck with those market dynamics a little bit, and like it's gonna be fun, you know, kind of like some game theory type stuff. So, but just real simple shit. But yeah, that's basically what it is like it's just a way for us to like reward the holders and be like, hey, like if you just like hold your samurai, like you're gonna get enough to get this like free new NFT collection that's going to be like its own built out world and company.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what happens, because Dorian keeps hinting at it, and if Dorian keeps hinting at it, it's probably alpha right there. Just know, if you are listening to this,
Dorian hasn't even seen the art that we just got like the first round of trades, because we've been working. And it's like, dude, it's so sick. Like
it is. Oh, dude,
like,
I'm super pumped, man.
like I haven't even looked at all of them yet, because it was just right when I got on this call.
Oh, man, yeah. I'm already super excited about, like, I've seen like the initial drafts that we done, but like I'm really going to be excited when I see trades. So
yeah. It's gonna be fun, dude. Speaking of fun, an auction just ended. You've been doing legendary auctions for I don't know how long now. I mean, pretty much since the beginning, right? And you've been, I mean, there's a ton. You have some art reworks coming up on some of the past legendaries, but one just sold for 22 SOL on exchange art. Went to Smokey. good old Smokey. He might be in the crowd here. Smokey's a habitual listener, but it was a rage skin, which I expected him to win because Smokey is like a rage maxi.
He's a rageaholic, dude.
Yeah, we can share your screen. But yeah, this one's so it's just some of the like, dude, it's high tier artwork right there. And it just kind of fits in. One, it has utility.
It's so high tier, it takes a while to load, bro. See, I'm like fucking around, but I'm actually serious. It's like so high def that it takes a minute to load.
Yeah, no, it's really good stuff, dude. I love the punk helm, but holy crap, like Joe was in on that. It got up high. I think it went to 73 soul.
Dude,
so
I made the last bet. I put in a 65 soul bid, right? And I'm chilling. I'm watching. Like a minute and 30 goes in. Boom, the 70-some bid hits. And it didn't even let me put in another bid. Like he timed it so perfectly that I had no grace period. And I remember I stayed late too. My girl was at the lake yelling at me. And I'm there. I'm like, no, I'm getting this. I got my boy. He's like behind me watching. And I'm like, and then it just caught me. But yeah, I'm mad I didn't see this one. I saw it last minute. I retweeted it this morning, but it was too late.
Yeah, dude. I love the rage one, but obviously I'm a punk maxi, and
the fact that they're tying in the actual NFT that ties in with the art is sick. Like you're getting an actual Cyber Sam that ties in with your legendary piece, bro. Like that is so sick.
And they have utility too, Joe. Like you get, what is it, 5x rewards, Shake?
3x, wow. Yeah. So you get like 3x
on
the
top
points.
of that.
And then you get like the highest level of the Soosh airdrop. And then like the other part we haven't done in a bit is like the people, the holders of this, we call it the Elder Council. And the idea is like that they get kind of like exclusive access to kind of consult on like creative direction of the project. So the main thing that was back when we minted and like a few months ago was the comic. But we've paused the comic for now. So, but we're gonna get their take on some of the like the upcoming collection, some of the Soosh stuff, and
even like we're working on. Sorry, Shake, I don't mean to cut you off or like interject if I'm speaking inappropriate.
No, you're good, bro.
It's like we're trying to make stuff in the Elder Council more exclusive. So who knows? If you have a legendary, you might be one of the few people who see the sneak peek of the new art before everybody else, because there's not going to be a lot of previews, if any.
Yeah. I love the legendaries, dude. They're sick. And you do get Saki with it, right? I mean, you get a Saki airdrop, which is the highest level of Soosh right there, which basically counts as 6. So you do get 6 as the key. That's all I know, right? I don't know what you get, but you get something.
Saki's a little bit more special than that, dog.
It's probably gonna be a little more special than that. You heard it here first. Let's talk about a couple things last. One, you do have remaining Cyber Samurai in the dev wallet. I know you've been kind of trickling those out via raffles with the legendaries now. You've been attaching like a thematic. So the Punk Helm one came with a Punk Helm, like regular Cyber Samurai, as well as a Rage one came with like the rarest Rage I've seen. Just the clean, like nothing on them. Nice purple background. It was sick. What else are you going to do with the Sams and the dev wallet there, Shake?
Yeah, I mean, so I pay a lot of the team. That's what we use that for, because we like don't make much on royalties right now, and it's a way to kind of like still compensate people. And honestly, we don't have a great plan for most of them because there's still so many in there. And there's like, dude, we've gone through every like option and the pros and cons, and like, I don't know. I just don't think there's a great way to like distribute them yet. And so we're just going to continue to like use them to pay the team, put them in these legendaries, you put them in the raffles. But it's really hard to find like a good way to distribute these tokens that doesn't hurt or dilute the current holders. Like it's like almost impossible because like we don't want to like,
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Shay, because it's like you dump that much supply on the market, it's only going to negatively affect the floor price and hurt the current holders. But it's also, Shake has been doing a great job of giving it to people who's been active in spaces, who come up and ask questions.
Yeah.
So it's more like paying people, not even paying people, but giving deserving members or people we want in our community a Cyber Samurai.
Yeah, that's exactly it too. I've been like sponsoring our own Twitter spaces, and I just get raffling to people who like contribute. sometimes I was giving to people. Like I remember a while ago, like I was listening to like Deep's spaces a lot, and I just like gave him 2 of them because I was like, bro, like if you want to give these away or whatever, like on your space,
He's awesome.
go ahead.
I love the Deep. He cracks me up, and he's so funny, dude. He's such
and Deep was, bro, he was so funny. He was like, I'm never selling these, bro. He's like, I can't sell them. And I know for him, like, there's like kind of a lot of decent amount of money. And he was just like, bro, anytime somebody gives me a free thing, I never sell it. Like I'll diamond fist it. And I'm like, bro, that's tight. I like that.
Deep is so, dude. I will never. Nothing makes my day more than going on Easy Spaces and hearing, "Hey, Easy." You know, he's so funny, dude. He's so funny. No, that's good. Okay, final question for you. We also have some questions from the audience that I do want. We'll get into those first. Any utility coming from the comic pages? Do we have any comic page utilities?
Oh, these comic pages, man, they're tough. I mean, nothing right now, right? Like nothing right now. They're just collectible. But we have some ideas that we're gonna do. Yeah.
I was thinking the utility is the collectible side of it. So
yes.
And then Manny said, let's have a Soosh collection, have a token, and have us do auctions with that token. What do you mean by that, Manny? It's not really a question. My question for you. What's up, Dor?
I interpret it as he's saying use Soosh as a token where it's like, oh, if we have an auction, utilize Soosh for that auction.
We can do like some
I think he's saying
burn.
to make a Soosh token that they get from staking or something.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's how I interpret it. I don't know.
We have different interpretations.
Good job, Manny. You got us all speculating up here.
last question for you. We have
he's saying for the Sams in the dev wallet. That's what he's saying.
That makes sense.
That's actually a good idea, bro. I kind of like that.
Yo, I mean, could you pledge? Yeah. Is there a way to pledge your NFTs in a way? You pledge them, and then you rank people for how long they've pledged your NFTs, maybe, and then have giveaways for certain levels of pledge. I don't know. I'm just rambling right now, but I think you guys.
So we have that with the levels. We have like because our thing is based on Moonbirds. So you have the credits. There's kind of like 2 like factors. So there's like you have these points, these credits, and then you have the levels as well. Honestly, we haven't done a great job of using the levels that much, but it's something that
I love that subset that you have levels though. That's because you do have a levels on one path. I never even thought about that though. So that's beautiful. You have an ability to utilize that too. So there's so many avenues for you guys to take this in, which is super cool.
Yeah, because it's all about like I've heard Frank talk about this, but like it's all about like making cohorts of your holders, right? Because like the reality is like you have 5,000 or 10,000 holders, whatever. Like it's hard to give like a really meaningful reward to everybody, but like the more you can like ask them to engage and create smaller cohorts, like the higher value like kind of rewards you can give because there's just fewer people. And so that's kind of like the whole leveling thing. That's what Moonbirds does. We literally copied Moonbirds, bro, and then we just added some things on it.
Yeah, I mean, look, if it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
Yeah,
do it really well.
I think it's so cool what they did, bro. Like in the time when everyone was doing like these Ponzi tokens, they did something different.
Yeah, so it was Shake. Sorry, Bison, go ahead.
I was just gonna talk about. No, you go ahead, Dor, and then I'm gonna talk about streetwear. What's up from streetwear after that? But yeah, you go ahead. Dor.
Yeah. Shake, you just brought up the point about like empowering sub communities within like the larger collection. What is Cyber Samurai? Is like Cyber Samurai actively doing anything that empowers their sub communities?
I love when Dorian gives me the money softball questions, bro. It's so helpful. Yeah, bro. We gave so we have like Pepe DAO is like the main sub community that like kind of emerged from the community. And so, yeah, we pledged, there's 55% of the royalties on all of the Pepe NFTs. So I think it's about 8% of the whole collection. And the Pepe is the Pepe the Frog, like it's the humor. We call it the humor skin. But yeah, so there's 55% of those royalties go into a multi-sig wallet that's controlled by a council, the Pepe council that they elected amongst the holders themselves. And so, yeah. It's like from my eyes, I'm like, how do we make people really feel part of the project without like making the project like a DAO? Because I always hated when projects are like, oh, like we're just gonna let the DAO like do everything now, and it's like, well, bro, like what the fuck, like you raise the money, like, do something. So like we're still doing a lot of things like as this core centralized like unit of the team, right? And we're making decisions about the money and managing most of it. but then we can like let independent entity manage like a portion of things in a decentralized way. And I'm just it's kind of like a test. Like we'll see how this works if it does anything meaningful. But yeah, like to me, those holders are the ones that like make those NFTs valuable because they always are trading at like 2 or 3x floor, and people buy them there a lot. And every time I go on a space, people are like, "Oh, I got to get a samurai," and like they're like, "Oh, should I get a Pepe?" Right? It's like it's definitely like a phenomenon that they created, that base of holders that I had nothing to do with besides designing the skin. And so I feel like they deserve to like reap their rewards and decide what happens with that revenue.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's such a cool project to me too. Like it's not groundbreaking money or anything like that, but it's enough that you can do cool things, like incentivize people to make cool memes and just proliferate not only Cyber Samurai but like their own sub DAO, and in turn make their own money for themselves to continue doing stuff like that. So it's a cool project. I think it'll work out because unfortunately, hate to admit it, Pepe DAO does have some like just really good content memers and producers over there. So dude, the Pepe song was sick. We put it on SoundCloud. I can't even remember. But it was
like Ultra Kygo.
Ultron to the audience too. So Ultron, you did great work with that. But yeah, the last question I have for you on Cyber Samurai before we move into some more market stuff is you do have streetwear. It is really quality stuff. I wear this hat more times than I care to admit, as well as the shirt. It's a pretty routine, like rotational shirt for me. It's very comfortable. What else are we doing with streetwear?
Dude, so I'm gonna do more. The short answer. But like so kind of like what I was saying at the beginning, right? Like bro, I remember our interview and I ranted for like 2 hours about like this and that, all these plans, right? Because I'm really passionate about every individual one of these projects. I really, really care about like the projects within Cyber Samurai, right? Like the comic is a good example too. And like the comic has all this meaning to me and potential, but like the reality is we have like a very small team and we have very little funding. And like it's just we're completely funded off like royalties, right? And now luckily Path, which is bringing in a small amount of money, but like we have to really like cut down on like any initiatives that like aren't kind of like driving like the core value of the project. And so merch unfortunately is kind of one of those things where like we did it really well and it definitely had people like I remember Easy Eats talking about it many times on his spaces and it did get a lot of good press for us, but at the end of the day it wasn't like a game changer. And so we've had to just kind of side table it for now, but it's definitely something we're going to do more of. And like people did appreciate it. And a lot of people bought the merch and we still have a bunch that I'm going to use for the raffles and stuff. But yeah, it's just been kind of like side table now, bro, until we can like get more money because I pay a designer to like do a whole process front to back. And I just handle like fulfillment and like, yeah. So I just have to kind of save up enough to pay him again. But
right.
Yeah.
I mean, look, if it doesn't push the brand forward, like the
other thing is, bro, we didn't have our stuff. I just moved to Florida. We didn't get our stuff until like last Thursday. So I didn't even have the current merch that's already made. I didn't even have it until like a few days ago. Yeah.
Oh, good. So, well, that's what happens when we move cross country, bro. Welcome to Florida. And I hope you guys enjoyed your first hurricane as well. I know you got way far away from here.
Yeah.
And it's welcome. That was quite the welcome package there.
It didn't hit you guys at all? Not really, right?
No, it got St. Augustine just because of the tides and stuff, and it brought a bunch of rain, and so they got flooded down there. But no, we were untouched here. We didn't have a tree fall or anything. So that's how you know it was overhyped. I always worry about more the grocery stores and stuff around here. Because everybody goes on grocery runs and prepares like we're about to see the apocalypse. So yeah. Besides that, well, I mean that's good. So Cyber Samurai is chugging along. Sounds like you guys now have your focus and everything like that too, where you're just like, hey, we're gonna hyper focus on these things that are actually pushing the brand to where we want it to be and are high level priorities for us, which is good. I think a lot of projects can learn from that. Because a lot of people like to have their hands in a bunch of different facets and get overextended, especially in a time where royalties may now like be a thing of the past. We don't know. Yeah. Of course, we'll have that talk here. It's been talked about so many spaces, dude. I'm like honestly exhausted from it. I think AMMs are, a solution, at least in the short term, of generating fees and providing liquidity into your project, which I guess is another question for you before we move on from Cyber Samurai. Like with the dev wallet, would it make sense for you to start a liquidity pool with some of those? Like not all of them, right? You don't want to do all of them because then you will have.
We already have.
Yeah.
Okay. I figured as much.
But it's kind of like the whole like, oh, I see HGE tweeting this, like, oh, projects are going to make more from fees. Total myth, bro. Because like if the project was making the same amount from fees, why would people even use the LP? Like really? I mean, you're not saving money at that point. Like, yeah, you can sell it a little bit faster, but I think a big reason why people use these other marketplaces is to make money on the fees itself.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, but like to me, luckily, like 9 months ago, like we were making no royalty money, and I like decided to like take my remaining funds from in and like try to build things that could produce like ongoing revenue. And so like that's what like Path is, and the Tensei ceremony, like Catch King's using the Tensei ceremony, right? Like they're our first customer for that. Like these things are like the culmination of like 9 months of work where we were in a world where Cyber Samurai was at zero. We were making no royalty money. So I've kind of been like preparing for it in some ways, right? We do the legendaries, which like it doesn't dilute our supply, but it gives people like a high ticket item. It's very much like Degen Apes, the crates, right? Mm-hmm. So that helps pay Jose's bills, like pay his salary. So yeah, there's things that we're doing to avoid the royalties. But I was about to say something else, bro. Oh yeah, like I think like so one option that we've already had like some offers kind of tentative to like invest in like from VCs to like invest in like the Cyber Samurai like IP part of the project, as well as like separately some of the tech products like Path specifically. And like the difficult thing for me is that like once a project, in my eyes, when a project takes VC funding, I know a lot of people say it's bullish, but like what it kind of gives is that the project has to answer to two conflicting parties, which often have like conflicting interests. So like they have to deliver value to the VCs, and they are mandated, like legally they have to do that, right? And then they are supposed to deliver value to the holders, right? And like how much value can a fucking NFT make, really, right? I mean, like let's be honest, they're hard. It's startups. Nobody knows what they're doing, and so yeah, I'm in a position where I'm like I want to make it work with just like NFTs, like that would be like the coolest way to do that, and only have like the holders to answer to. And that's kind of the whole like goal of what we're doing right now,
right?
With the Soosh and like with all the next collection that we'll announce soon.
Yeah, and that makes sense to me. I've always had that same viewpoint, Shake, where like I get it, VC money is good. I think there's ways you could do it that like you can still have them kind of be involved and not have to answer to communities. But for the most part, most projects don't have the infrastructure set up where like I think the only way VC money comes in that you don't have to completely kind of commingle those the community as well as VC is like maybe through a token sale. And even then you still have to answer to them, right? So that they have one path they want to go on or one vision they want to go on where it makes them the most money. And then you have the community, which wants to see, I would say, more alignment with what the project founders are in the proliferation of the project itself, whether that's the IP or making money or anything like that. Holders. So it's tough to manage. I like that you're not like just jumping on the VC bandwagon, especially now that royalties are kind of like subsiding and it's a real big conversation in the market. Because I think there's going to be a turning point for NFTs if we go down the wrong path where it may be a point of no return, or it's going to be very hard to revert. So yeah, I think you're right. I think it's the way to go. Cyber Samurai is one for the future. And dude, I think you are the most undervalued like dude and project in Web3 where it comes to anybody I talk to about Shake or the project. They're like, yeah, Cyber Samurai is goated. And I'm like, well, why are we still at a 5 floor price and you guys are still buying, absolute dog water on the open market? Like you got put your money where your mouth is. We blow money here on Web3. Stop talking, start buying. So yeah,
we're working on fixing that, dog. Like We're working on fixing it, and it's going to be corrected soon.
Yeah, no, they gonna miss out. I mean, it's so cheap right now, dude. I feel much comfier with my bags in Cyber Samurai than just about any other project I hold outside of Remnants, obviously. Yeah, I'd say those are my two biggest and best bags that I sleep cozily on. So
I mean, bro, that means a lot, dude. That means a lot to me.
Yeah,
that's how I want people to feel that way, where they're like, bro, I'm not worried about it. The price goes down a little bit, goes up a little bit. Like, that's tight.
You're at a point now too, dude, where it's just like you've had the long time. We're over a year now into the project where like you don't have the when people anymore. The people that are in it have been in it for a while, or the ones that have bought in recently are like, yo, the community's not worrying. I'm not worrying, right? Like I'm just gonna I'm along with the ride. We have some absolute chads in there that are some of the best people in Web3. I mean, it's one of the best tight-knit communities I've been a part of. So it's easy to invest in. I think everybody should have.
We have a lot of creative people, like people who not necessarily they're artists or musicians. We have that too, but people who want to contribute. That's what somebody asked me recently, and it made me think what is our community? What identifies our community? What makes it different, right? And I realized that there's so many people who are creators, whether it's content creators, music, art, memes, merch, everybody likes to do shit, and that's really cool, And then we have a lot of the most biggest fucking whales and shit. But a lot of them are too. Yeah, and smart guys who have done really well for themselves, but those guys are usually the type to they hate shilling, So we have these guys holding a shit ton of Sams, but you would never know it because they don't shill it all the time. Which I don't know. It's a good thing, but we need to get the fucking crazy guys who are on Twitter all day. We need to get more guys like that on the project.
I do want to highlight the big brains that Cyber Samurai has too. It's all three of us, all of us on stage are active within the community. And then we got Manny, who's in the crowd. Manny has been amazing ever since he's came into Cyber Samurai. Jay Shep has been awesome. There's just so many great people in the community that provide value back in not only artistic ways, but also in terms of actual value of plays you can get into. So yeah.
Yeah, it's a good community to be part of. I know Joe's the most recent entrant. Joe, how's your experience been with Cyber Samurai before we move on?
Absolutely delightful. Since the first time, homie, 2 seconds. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Yo, I thought we were going to get our first Joe Rug of the show. I was like, here it comes.
Ain't a show without a Joe Rug.
The first time I used it, first time I got on Path Protocol and the soft staking, I still had custody in my wallet. I tweeted about it. I was like, I don't understand why projects aren't using this. And especially legality wise, if you want to reward your holders, but not flood in a bull crap LP or something ruggy, you want to reward your holders. This is the streamline right to the veins. This is the most cleanest infrastructure. It doesn't even, it's custodial for onboarding people. It doesn't freak them out. It doesn't leave their wallet. I just didn't understand the paradigm of why are people still using these glitchy approved 4 transactions, send, receive. Why are they using this when this is so clean? So that was my first reaction. And then I got into the Twitter group chat and just saw everyone that's held for so long and just all the gigabrains, like you guys said, the community. I think Shake, the point that I want to grab on that he said is everyone, there's contributors in there, right? And that's so true. Everyone has kind of an urge in their body to they put something out there that's good or a net positive, try their best in their lane to put out information or help people, whatever it is. So I just think the community in itself is what will propel this forward, because you guys are obviously nonstop working. That's not even the question. It's just oh, where's the hype cycle or momentum to get the floor price? That'll all come for sure, just because of the fundamentals are so strong. When an infrastructure is that strong, I don't really worry about it. So yeah, I'm excited to be a part of the project, man, and be a part of the community and just be another pillar within the system, man.
Yeah. It's fun, dude. I do enjoy the dojo.
Deuce we truce, baby.
I'm out here flexing, bro. Don't even worry. I see your traps, bro. I see your delts. Already know, bro. I'm out here too.
I just worked out my traps today, bro.
I can tell, bro. It's looking juicy, dog.
Hey, baby. You guys see my gym? The home gym I made?
No.
Did you see
Oh
the
wait,
Yeah,
yes,
I
I
did,
did.
bro.
I saw the
It was
60
like 60
sold.
sold, and I said it was a great investment, which it was.
Yeah.
It was an amazing investment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
somebody
it's
said it
awesome.
was the Bitcoin pizza of Soul. So
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
commented that. That was
I
hilarious.
love that comment. I was like, I hope so, bro. That would be awesome.
That'd be the best home gym of all time.
There'll be a news headline: Florida man lost $60,000, on a home gym.
Like, jeez. All right, let's get some news headlines. Obviously, the one that is most recent and probably most prominent that I know a lot of people, especially people who haven't been around for a little bit, are going to lose their mind about is Yuga Labs getting investigated by the SEC. There's a tweet that was posted out by Watcher Guru. If you guys don't follow Watcher Guru, good headlines within the NFT and Web3 and crypto space. Thoughts? What are we thinking here, guys? A lot of people are going to be worried about. Everybody sees SEC investigation and they're like, oh my gosh, this is the end of NFTs or something like that. Shake, I know you've been in it for a while. I'm pretty sure Joe has. Dorian got in with Dogecoin. We have Ripple too. Like Ripple, this reminds me so much of Ripple, which is still an ongoing, I guess, lawsuit thing too. So like, hasn't even been resolved yet. But Shake, since you're our guest, I'll let you go first. What do you think about this? What's going on here?
Oh, bro. I mean, I kind of thought it was inevitable, and like they said their word they use is probing Yuga, which is pretty humor. But yeah, I mean, I think I thought it was inevitable, bro. And like let's be honest, like a lot of the shit we're doing is like totally unregistered securities, and it sucks. This might be like the beginning of the end of like some of the freedom in NFTs, but yeah, I don't think it's like. I don't want to overreact to it at this point, but there's definitely it's definitely not good, But it was inevitable. Like we all knew it was coming. I think. So yeah. I just don't want NFTs to become like tokens, where like what happened with tokens, right? Like everybody used to do ICO. Everybody used to be able to participate in ICOs, and then now it's only accredited investors, and it's like very much like this, behind the scenes game. And like they are getting these like outsized returns most of the time and like dumping on retail and NFTs. Sorry, I'm getting a call. But
You're
NFTs
good.
were like a more fair opportunity for people. And so I hope that it doesn't become like the token model, but we'll see.
Yeah. Dor, go ahead, because you have a good point of like you're happy that they went after Yuga, right?
Yeah, man. So like I guess it's just my personality, but I'm always a perma optimist. We could always get like bearish about like the negative things that happen on a daily basis. For me, we knew this was going to happen. Like this happening is not a surprise. We knew it was a matter of time. Somebody was going to get hit. Guess what? At least the person with the most money in all of NFTs is the one getting hit. This is the best case scenario. Like if SEC really wanted to like establish some archaic regulations or set an archaic precedent, go after the little guy who can't defend themselves. Dude, you're going after the creator of Punks, the owner of Punks, and the owner of BAYC. Like, let's go. Let's go. They've been working with the legal team for a long time, prepping for this stuff. So they knew it was a matter of time for happen. So their legal team's like, yo, we're good. We're ready for this. Like, let's go. They will be able to do this stuff for a long time. And even though it might not be in their favor, I think it'll work out positive because we'll have more clarification on regulations surrounding NFTs going forward. So everybody's not sitting here on crypto Twitter like, I'm going to jail. But I don't think it'll be as bad as everybody thinks it will be. Like, I would be more scared if they went after Cyber Samurai. No offense, Shake, I don't think you can go against the SEC, dog. So you just like roll over and like take a beating. Even the thing with Kim Kardashian, like they got her to pay $250,000. Dog, you think $250K anything to Kim K? God, no, dude. That's chump change. So people out here flexing on Kim Kardashian, $250,000. Yeah, right. That's like Kim Kardashian's breakfast, dude. Come on. So it's like all these weird mainstream flexes that don't really do anything that's going on right now. I think this is just a headline for people and not necessarily. I think this needs time to play out. And God knows how long it's going to take. We have Ripple, who's been going on forever. And I foresee there's going to be a similar thing with Yuga Labs too. It's like they've been waiting for it. And guess what? I'm sure they can gather money from other people within the ecosystem to help fight this, because their outcome is going to really set the precedent. So guess what? I'd give money to that. Hey, dog, let's get in there and go.
Yo, wouldn't it be hilarious if they did a fundraise with an NFT sale of like, you know, lawyer apes or something like that to fund their courtroom? Dude, that would be iconic. Oh, I would buy it. I would buy it just for memes, dude.
And then
that would be incredible. Yeah, Joe, what's your thoughts on the SEC going after Yuga? What are you thinking right here?
I mean, it's inevitable, right? If we want the, you know, onboarding new liquidity, it's regulation, right? Big business, everybody we want. Big money moves slow, and it waits for regulation, right? So it knows the loopholes in which to stand. So, I mean, it's inevitable, and I think it's just, you know, you go after low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit is Bored Ape Yacht Club. You got Snoop, you got Eminem. It's the regular person, Web 2, can go, oh, that's an NFT product. So it's, you know, it's I see what they're doing. Yuga's not scared. They have the right people in place. It's all about this is the first stepping stone to regulation, just like they've done to Coinbase, Binance. They've, you know, that's just what it's you're seeing it happen, right? You're going to, you know, 2025, and you'll see the big money start rolling in, and crypto probably expand from there. So it's the first stepping stone, but like Shake said, right, we're going to lose some of that freedom, and you don't have to really worry about like reporting your tax, like, you know, really be on your P's and Q's, you know, so.
You should have been reporting that stuff on taxes anyway. So if you haven't been doing that, dog, you shouldn't be doing that, man.
Bro, I live where you don't need to. That's where I live.
Or that.
Yeah, we're all moving to Puerto Rico. Anyways, yeah, I really do think this is like, you know, like you guys said, it's inevitable. It was bound to happen. Like everybody's going to, you know, any money that's been made, and if it looks like a security, it may even possibly qualify as a security, they're going to go after them. And it's going to be a long, arduous battle. Don't overreact. All this is going to do is give us good entries right now, in my personal opinion. Not financial advice. I really have to say that now. If we're all getting investigated and we're all going to jail, this is not financial advice. Do your own research. Full disclaimer, I am not a financial planner or advisor. None of us are on this stage. We are just, you know, JPEG traders. So when it comes to all this, I do think in the long run, this will be, you know, kind of a blowover event that was bound to happen. And like Dorian said, glad it happened to Yuga. Not saying like I'm glad it happened, but like Yuga is the most prepared by far out of anybody else in the space. Was bound to see this happen. Talking about where you live, we are all Canadians, right? Or all did not claim the Metaplex airdrop. If you guys haven't, go to claim.metaplex.com. If you live in the US, you cannot do it. So, you know, don't claim them. We are all Canadians though. So that's how this works. You can go ahead and claim some Metaplex governance tokens. Eligibility is, you know, based off of whether you are a candy machine creator, early adopter, Solana collector, power user, digital artist, all that good stuff. They do have that all broken down.
Eligibility is based on if you're Canadian.
Yeah, that's all it is.
A nationalist token.
Yeah, it's a nationalist token. So, I kind of want you guys' thoughts, because I think there's everybody was bound to dump these, dude. Like as soon as you got them, like you're selling them for the most part. I did not like get them and sell them in time, but before I was like, you know, it's worth holding on to some of these. Like, could be worth something someday. Do you guys think, I mean, like Metaplex is a core component of what we do in our everyday lives, right? Like this could have some real use case, like the Magic ticket with Magic Eden. I guess now that they're losing market share, we'll talk about that in a second. Not as valuable, but Metaplex token could be something that, you know, I keep an eye on as far as like trading wise. What are you guys' thoughts there? We'll go with Joe first. Have you claimed any tokens, Joe?
You know,
you don't have to answer that.
I may have or may not, you know. I think Metaplex is interesting. I think their white paper on their NFT is interesting. I think the things they're doing, basically, you know, like a free IDO allocation, just a way to get a full circulation going, you know, get the tokens out. So like I you know, if you didn't sell them and you're sitting on the white paper, I think, you know, it's a key component into our ecosystem, right? It's like literally the backbone structure. So they could have really serious utility case for the NFT or for the token. I could see that, right? That's a possibility. So I mean, at this point, right, it doesn't hurt to just hold it if you're going to get a few bucks or a couple $100, whatever, you know. I don't know if that's it might be the opportunity cost here is maybe just stick it in the wallet and just hold on and see what happens, because I could see, you know, I could see some cool things being derived from it.
Yeah, I think there's some intriguing use cases there. I mean, like I said, Metaplex is key component, right? So Shake, you are across the board. You have some eligibility there. When it comes to the Metaplex token, you know, what do you think about it? Where are you going with this? Because you've been in the space for a while. You've been in DeFi summer and everything like that, right? So you've seen these governance tokens. They like having some volatility behind them.
Yeah, I mean, I actually missed DeFi summer. I came in right after DeFi summer. Unfortunately, otherwise I'd probably be retired. But so the dude Metaplex, somebody asked me to get in this, like invest in their the latest round of financing, funding, and I'm pretty sure it was at a 500 mil valuation. And I remember thinking like, yo, fuck no, bro, because like maybe during a bull run, yeah, that might 5x, but like I remember thinking like, no, bro, I can outperform it, and I don't want to be stuck in this like illiquid bag, you know. So I'm pretty sure the people who invested in it are like down like 90%, like down like horrendous. But yeah, I mean, I think I sold mine. And I was debating not selling it, but then like, I think the people, the VCs who invested in it, like none of them really run like trading, desks. So like, first I was like, oh, maybe they'll pump it. Cause like that does happen. Like people will just like pump the airdrop and like to try to get retail to buy in, and then they'll sell their like allocation. But none of these firms really have trading desks. So I was like, oh, it's probably just down only. Like they're just like, no one's going to be like trying to trade and like prop up the price.
That's a good point.
But I don't know. I do think that like, this is the type of thing where in a bull run, like this, the narrative around this coin, even if it has no utility, like the narrative around this coin would be really strong because of the reasons you said. But right now I'm like, oh man, things are just bleak. Like, but it's definitely one that I would like look at buying during a bull run. But just my general attitude about like tokens right now is like, I don't like to be in like long-term token positions like during a bear market, because when the bull run comes back around, like there's going to be like some new shiny shit that like outperforms everything. And so right now I just kind of like use NFTs to like make Sol, and I'm just high conviction in Sol. Like Sol could go down 80% and I'm like fine holding it. So I just put it in Sol, bro. I got like $500 of Sol, like because my wallet is on like a couple candy machines, you know. So they hooked me up a little bit, but yeah.
There you go. I love it. Yeah. Dor, what do you think about the Metaplex token? Are you holding? Did you get any? You know, we're all Canadian.
Yeah, I can't confirm if I did or did not get any, but if I did, it would be around 650 of these things. And it just theoretically, when I looked at the chart, if I had that much, it was around like 2 Sol when I saw it. So I'm like, if I swapping it out for that, I'm like, I would be good. Like I'm not worried about 2 Sol. I just think also in alternative areas, like during my time in Canada, I was also eligible for the OP airdrop. Optimistic. Yeah. Oh, the L2 or on ETH or whatever. I forgot its name. When tokens, when they're airdropped, have a trend of being dumped, surprisingly. So I never sell during that first dump because I always think there's going to be some type of rebound. So I just rather hold on to it. And then like I managed to catch the charts of Optimism when they pumped to like 140, 150. Boom, great exit price. Because that would have, it was opportunity cost holding on to that airdrop. But at the same time, like Optimism's not going anywhere. So might as well hold on to it. We saw the same thing with ApeCoin. The big dump when it was first done and then shoot back up. I think the same thing applies here. I don't recall any token being airdropped just straight going to zero. I'm sure they exist, but it's not the norm. So I would apply that to Metaplex and just hold on for a little bit. It might take a couple months, but I figure I'll just hold on to a free airdrop for a couple months. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. I think so too. For me, it was, you know, like such a insignificant amount of, well, I don't want to say insignificant Sol. I think you should stay liquid. We've been saying that on the show for ages now, it feels like. So, you know, any liquidity you can get, go ahead. I'm not going to fault you for selling, but it's one of those things where I'm kind of just holding on to the bag, and like it was free. what's the cost
Yep.
basis,
Yep.
So, but that's of course if I lived in Canada, I'm
Yep.
not Canadian and I certainly don't have any. Regardless, I do think there's a play there. It's always curious. There was a little run up last night of when it was announced. I made like a whopping one soul trade on the Metaplex white paper. Because it's one of those, like, we always talk about accompanying goods and stuff like that on the show, where I saw that the drop was announced. I was like, I'm gonna buy one of these right now and just watch it run up, because of like, the thing gets dropped and people speculate, like what could happen with this white paper, who knows? And it's one of those things that, like, I always say, watch the market. If you see an accompanying good, for instance, So Dead has been a hot topic of discussion lately, where it was like So Dead goes up and Coffins or Arson's Nation hasn't gone up. Like, maybe those are delayed gratification plays that we talk about so much on the show. So keep in mind, we always like teaching you how to fish, not fishing for you. Looking for those plays. That's the way. So Metaplex white paper was a nice little run up. I think it'll come back down, and if you want to trade that, I don't fault you. I think there's only 1,000 of them. I don't know if they're going to be collectibles. I don't know if there's going to be any utility with them, but the speculation is what drives price up. So I like looking at those plays. We do have Critters Cult has been hot topic lately. One of the best art projects I've seen on Solana in a long time. Probably top 3, top 5 pixel project I've seen across all chains, really. I mean, it is so good from RGB. Release the art map. So this is an art-driven project. There's a ton in there. I'm not going to get into every single bit of it, but like, there's a whole ecosystem. You have Sun Studio and everything underneath it. Soul Sunsets. I remember seeing Soul Sunsets at like 0.5, and I was like, man, this is really cool art. Like, I love the banner of it. I was going to make it my banner. My friend was like, no, you can deploy capital better than that. And I'm so upset about it.
They're like 8 now.
Yeah, they ran up, dude. They ran up to like 13 or something like that at one point. I was like, you're joking me. Whatever, that's fine. I'm gonna toss it to the side. But there's a whole ecosystem that comes with it. There is going to be Sun Saga coming in at the end of next year. It sounds like Q3 of 23. So something to watch out for. They do have pixels. Now, you guys are Critters maxis now. You guys all have Critters between Dorian and Joe. I'm not sure if Shake does. Shake's with me in the Critter list.
Bro, you just reminded me that I still have one. I think I'm going to fucking floor it right now on,
on
air. Live on air, baby. Nobody undercut me.
Well, now you can.
Because you're talking about it, bro, and I started thinking, what's my thesis on this? And I was like, God, I have no good thesis, bro. And like, one of like the best traders I follow, he says like this thing where he's like, 99% of the time, the best trade is no trade. And then like a few times a year, there's like free money on the floor, and you got to take that money, Yeah. And I have to remember that more, because sometimes I'll just buy into something with like the weakest, like no thesis, where I'm just like, oh, it's like got some volume, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm so guilty of that, and it's true. Moving slower and like making more conviction plays is always the move, and I always forget it every single time, every single day. I'll be like, this got some volume to it. The numbers look good. I have no idea what it does, and then next thing you know, you're down 20%. So, and then you're like, man, I just took a 20% loss in like a day, dude. Like on whatever investment I made. So, definitely, some people are really good at chasing those kind of trades. I found more success more times than not finding those deep conviction. I'm going to hold on to those for like month, 6 month kind of time horizon, and make my money that way. That's how we made our money with Dust. That's how we made our money with dude. Bro. Shake did it with Lotus Gang. Dude, that Lotus Gang call was legendary. I remember that weekly FOMO where you're like, yo, Lotus Gang's at like 1.5 or something like that. Like, you guys should be buying Lotus. Like,
that was like bro, that's funny you brought that up. That was like one of the things I was literally just thinking of, like, because the last 2 like really good NFT trades I had were Dust and Lotus Gang, and it was like it was like free money. Like, I felt like, oh my god, like I'm gonna buy this in as much like size as possible, like, because it's just like a free money trade. Lotus Gang worked out. I sold some at like 8, 9. Like, it went way higher than I thought it would, to be honest. I still have a couple, but.
I know I miss the Pico top. Like, we were on air with Easy, and I remember I was like, I'm taking profits now.
I think you top tick Dust though, bro. You traded Dust way better than I did.
I did hit.
Fuck
Well,
myself.
so yeah, no, I bought back in like a third of my bag, so I didn't like completely buy back in. But yeah, dude, I was like, why did I do that? Like, it was like 3.1. I was like, I made a 0.65 spread. I will say, Scrap was another big play that Dor and I made. Dor was really the conviction guy behind that, and then Joe got me with Liberty Square, which we both shared the opinion. But I'm thankful I have Joe and Dor to back me up on some of my ideas, because Joe was the one who was like, bro, conviction play, go for it. These guys are always present. And like, we got in at like, what, sub 2 soul. And that was like free money, dude. It's still at 15 or something like that. It ran up to 20.
I feel like, bro, that's the same as critters. Like, I'm thinking about it. I have a critters. I would much rather have a lib square.
Yeah.
Like, I have way more conviction. Lib square is going higher.
That is 110% my exact thinking, Shake. Is I was looking at it. I almost bought back into critters at like 20 plus soul. And I was like, man, these feel like they just have momentum. And I was like, okay, well, what do I, think about my trades? The most successful trades I've had. Is it the ones that I bought in on analytics or hype or momentum? No, it's the ones that I have conviction in. And so I kind of just looked at it. I was like, should I just, like, they were the same price as squirrels. Squirrels were actually like 5 soul less. And I was like, I think I should just hold on to the soul, man. Yeah. Like, if anything, I should just go with this squirrels. And I'm glad I did not. I really do think critters could be very successful. I think they would be 3 ETH minimum over on Ethereum. Like, I just think that's a different. We don't value art enough. We are not a mature enough space here, and have a longer time horizon like ETH does. It's just a more mature market over there, and I want it so desperately on Solana. I want it so desperately. Just like, I want the less win people and more like, hey, we're gonna pump up this community. We're gonna be awesome community members, or like, I want to say like an investor's paradigm where it's like, hey, I have a time horizon on this, but I'm also gonna be a positive reinforcement on my investment rather than just like, FUD my own bags, which we do so much on Solana, dude. I've seen it so many times I can't even count. And I do think Critters Cult would be more successful on ETH. And I think that's why Adam is going over there with Iron Paw. Like, it just makes sense. So, yeah, Liberty Square.
How high do you guys think Iron Paw can go, bro? Or
I'm glad you brought this up. I love talking about 4x4 and Iron Paw.
We're the fucking 4x4 experts right here, bro.
Yeah. I actually, so that was another reason I was like, I'm gonna hold on to Lick, because I think like I can get into Iron Paw, like, or 4x4 supply chain. The Voxel Monkey drop at like 20-ish soul. And would you rather have a Critters Cult, or would you rather have Iron Paw whitelist? Like, and a nice piece. I love the 4x4 art. I don't think it's talked about enough because everybody talks about Iron Paw gang, but the 4x4 art is so fun to me. But anyways, yeah, your guys' thoughts. You guys are the Iron Paw experts at this point. Dor, what do you think Iron Paw goes to?
Yo, I believe Iron Paw is going to be a couple ETH off the back, dude. And for those who are, if this is your first time tuning in, yes, I do own Iron Paw. We had Adam on the show, and I'm going to buy more. I don't have Iron Paw. I have 4x4. And guess what? I'm going to be buying more 4x4. So just put that out there now. But, dude, I'm super bullish on Adam. Adam's making all the right moves to set this thing up for success. He's brought a punk specifically to network with the punk community to like give whitelists out to them. Wouldn't be surprised. He's already talking to the founder of Proof Collective. If you don't know who that is, it's the I guess head branch or company or whatever who owns / created Moonbirds. I'm sure he has connections over to Bored Apes. So the community that he's facilitating around or creating or curating around his work is going to be top tier. Guess what? Those guys don't sell, and ladies too. They don't sell. They hold. They support the individual of the project and hold. And on those networks opportunities that he's creating is going to make this thing run. Don't get me wrong, I will flip my 4x4, like 1 or 2 of them, and I will have I'll have half my bag just to mint Iron Paw and hold it.
Yeah, I think that's true. Joe, you're another 4x4 guy. You have 4x4 in GM, which we can talk about too. I do think, dude, I think these additions are the one that are going to hold their value most. Like prominent artists in the space that are doing cool crossover events, such as Iron Paw, or, curated editions for their holders and stuff. I think they're going to be the ones that like will continue to drive the space forward. That's why I've been getting so into one-on-one art. But Joe, I want to hear your thoughts. Where do you think Iron Paw goes? There's the rug.
Go to zero.
There it
Hello?
is.
No, we're good. We're good. No, we're good here. We're here, baby. We're here. Your over and unders are going to shit. No, I'm just kidding. So dude, I think 4x4 has some real leg room. I think people on ETH, I mean, they don't have anything going on. They're minting crap daily. Like they really are. And I think a quality project with Adam's name and the voxel style, and I just think it will do very well. I think the whitelist around mint will start to get some real volume coming in from external like ETH players that want to get into the mint that aren't privy on it yet because it is a delayed gratification play. So I think it's a great play to have a few to flip to make your soul, to make the basically Iron Paw mint free for you, like your 0.15 to 3.3 ETH, have that for free as well as your 4x4. And I think that's a great play. So yeah, I mean, I'm very bullish on it. I'm trying to stack like the John Lee, like Lotus game. I'm trying to stack these delayed gratification plays with some of my soul rather than just staking it like we've played before. Like I'm betting on a higher reward rate than 6 to 7%. Based off putting my soul in this play rather than putting it into a validator or my node,
Yeah.
So that's how I'm looking at some of these plays as well. And like DGen Trash Panda, I picked up one of those today just because like, man, I see the protocols that they're building and moving towards and things of that nature. So like, I'm all into that. Like, I don't care if it falls flat on their face, but I'll support anybody trying something new and go a different direction. So yeah, I'm bullish on Iron Paw for sure.
All right, Shake, we'll go with you next, since I know you own quite a bit.
Bro,
Largest holder, dude.
So Bison, you had a really good point, which like I'm not saying you were wrong on, like because you said, the mint's not for a while, and when I bought like 11 of them, and I didn't even realize when the mint was, and so I sold a few of them. So I think I have 7 left, but I sold them. Like I did lose. I actually lost money because of the royalties. Anyways. I just did it, and when Dorian said 3 ETH, I was like, oh, that's a good point. We got to think about this in ETH terms. Yeah. And 3 ETH would be 120 SOL, which like sounds so like outlandish. Like I can't imagine these going that high, but it's possible, right? I mean, we talked about this on your guys' Twitter space. Like the onboarding tool to Sol is that he has the whitelist spots on Sol for you to buy, right? So. I mean, if that happens, the supply is small enough, the listings are so thin that like this thing can run pretty quick. The thing I'm a little bit worried about, like I feel like I should list mine now, just list them on the way up, because sometimes trading these additions when it's so illiquid, like the price will pump overnight and then like there won't be a buyer for like a whole day and then the price dumps 50%. It's like, so I feel like the play is to like have the price targets now and I'm gonna list some, but I still want to mint a couple at least. But yeah, I mean, I think hitting 100 SOL, I guess what I'm saying is I think hitting 100 SOL like actually isn't that crazy. Like it's totally possible.
Over on ETH, yeah. I really do think like, man, it would not surprise me at all if it goes to a 2 ETH floor. And he's talking about anywhere from 0.15 to 0.35 ETH, which it sucks because I do have some ETH in liquid over there. But if I get as many as I want to, as far as whitelists go, it's going to be a good bit of ETH, and, I should probably buy now in case it does run up. But, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and buy my cost so I don't have to manage funds from my what's it called? Ledger. Yeah. I just don't want to move funds from there, dude. I hate paying gas. That's one of the big things for ETH. I just something about it, just like I'm going to have to pay for it anyways from a centralized exchange, but at least I don't have to get it on my wallet. I do think, I just think this is going to be such a huge project from a great artist. And I've seen all the previews. They look so sick over there. Like they are so well done. It's insane. I think this runs, like Joe said, they've been minting absolute dog water on ETH over there. Like a lot of these projects look like just derivatives of other projects I've seen, like Weather Report plus like Cool Man's is like a project that has been doing numbers lately. And I don't know, just they're just recycling ideas over there. And I think Adam has something fresh and he's making all the right connections. So I do think this pumps. I think we go to 2 ETH min. And like Shake said, that's 80 SOL right there, bro. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's amazing.
Yeah, man. And I think one thing people don't realize is that you get 2 NFTs when you mint. You get the mech and the driver. So that's, you're getting 2 NFTs for the price of 1, which I think is awesome, because now it's like you have a market for it. It's like, if you want to sell your NFT, go ahead, but you still have your driver that you can keep.
Yeah. I think there's a play there. I am trying to get more, I think, over the next week or so. Solely because Adam did come on the show and was like, there is going to be a catalyst. He did reply to Dorian and say there's going to be a catalyst sooner than Iron Paw whitelist. So we'll see what that entails. He did hint at a big collaboration he couldn't say no to with another Solana artist. If you want my speculation, I think John Lay announcing that he's got Good Morning is going to be, our GM and First Edition are going to get like whitelist to this upcoming edition. I think it could be an Adam X John collab, dude. And I mean, those are two of the, if not the biggest artists on Solana collabing together. Like, that's the only person I can think of that he can literally just like look himself in the mirror and be like, you have to say yes to this, with all the stuff you got on your plate.
It
just
that would be nuts, dude.
So
GM under 10 soul is free.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too, Joe. What is it at right now? I haven't checked, but I think 8 was like where I was interested in buying. I haven't even checked, but dude, it's one of those things, like you said, Joe, delayed gratification. It'll come into play and everybody will FOMO in, and that's when you buy 2 and you parse off your bag. So
it's like 9.88 right now, Bison.
It's getting in there.
22.9, so you might be able to start seeing some decent entries here.
Bro, I see it.
Or I know Joe and Bison, you guys do TA, like you trade coins and stuff. Like, what do you guys think of Sol, the token price right now? Because that's like the one thing for me with some of these like 2-month, 3-month trades. I'm like, I'm not saying Sol will go lower, but it's probable to me. Like, but I don't know. Like,
I didn't think it would shake, but it's seeing price action lately, I'm like, it definitely could reach back down in there. And I always compare it to like a fractal from ETH back in 2018, right? When everything crashed, is like they had one more leg lower before it came back into the range we're seeing right now. And I can definitely see like Solana goes to, what do I have mapped out here? Like 16 or something like that would be like, I can see that being like the measured move, leg lower.
Bro, dude, harmonic wise, my 1.414 has my high buy zone, which I'll stack some orders up at 16.5 to down to 11.9. Worst case scenario. I think liquidity can be tapped down to like that 27 range and still hold market structure if BTC holds 17.6. But I mean, right now, I mean, if we shift to 50 BPS in December, we might be able to see a small Santa rally and might get that push back to 44, 50, maybe, take some liquidity. But yeah, man, I think that 16 number you said there, Bison, has some play. Worst case.
That's the thing, is I will always front run my number though, just a little bit, because I almost caught the very pico bottom the last time I did this, and it's like I didn't front run enough, so I just had to like front, like, so if it's 16, maybe it's 20, maybe that's the psychological level. I really don't know, Shake. I think it could go lower, but like, dude, we all know where this is going, so all I'm gonna do is DCA. It's not like I'm gonna like mega trade it right now. It's such a crab range. It's gross. Like, the profit amount I get from it, unless I'm using leverage, is like, who cares? Sort of like I would rather not risk losing a really good entry, because I've DC. I think my entry now is like 32-ish of my bags I bought over the past couple of months, and I would hate to lose any of that, because we just know where this is headed, bro. Solana is the future. Like, I try not to be a maxi or anything like that, but we're going there. So I don't know. What do you think? Where are you at, Shake?
With the Sol price, I mean, dude, honestly, I just really don't know. And like, for me, my personal portfolio, like, I have like a little bit of a longer time horizon where it's like with some of these NFT trades, right? For 4x4, it's like, yeah, could Sol go down 30, 40%? Yes. But if I make a lot more Sol on that, like in the long run, like, yeah, it's going to be a good play to just get more Sol, right? And it'll probably still outperform dollar-wise. Like if it does like a 5x, like that's, with Sol's price going down. But for like the fund that I manage, like that is like just pure dollar returns. Like they don't give a fuck about Sol, you know? And so I'm always like, for them, I usually trade the same, but right now with some of these plays, like with 4x4, the things I've been buying recently are 4x4, Lib Square, and Thug Monkeys. I don't know if you guys talked about that, but I love the Thug Monkeys play.
No.
Not as exciting, like not as like high upside, I would say, but
Bro, I minted the original Thug Monks. I got my
Did
3D
you,
and
bro?
everything. I got Jungle Coin. That was my first time I ever got liquidity from a community. Yeah, bro. I've been in this since
Jungle
November
Coin, bro.
last year.
I
So
remember
yeah.
that.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
sick, bro. I can't believe they're still around, like vibing. They're the first person to airdrop liquidity, I feel like, to like in the Solana degen space. Like,
Mhm.
I don't know if anyone was doing that before, where you could go to an actual. I forget what dex it was, like Jungle. What was the dex that you could get, or like the what? I forget where I swapped
Dex
it.
Labs? Was it Dex Labs? That was
It
like
might
a
have been
popular one
Dex.
for the shit
Yeah, it
coins.
might have been. It might have been. But
Yeah.
yeah, dude, Thug Monks. That's hilarious, bro.
Bro, he's doing a new one. It's very similar to the thing I keep comparing it to is Lotus Gang. Like, because Yako, the guy who founded it, he was NF Totally back then, right? And he was like, bro, like he was like the biggest influencer in like the early days. And he's really well connected, whatever, really good at marketing. But he's doing a new, like more like serious collection. And if you have 2 Thug Monks, then you get one of the free mints of that. And so I'm looking at the Thug Monkeys price. It's at 2, and I'm like, will his new thing be above 4? I feel pretty good about it. But like I said, maybe it'll be 8. Maybe it's like a 2x. So it's not like insane upside, but it's one of these things where I'm like, feel pretty confident in that it'll trade like 100% higher. But again, that's where it comes in with the Sol. That like this play specifically is one where I'm like, will Sol go down more than Thug Monkeys go up? And I'm like really on the fence about it. So I don't know. With 4x4, it's an easier decision, like because the upside is just fucking tremendous. But yeah, Thug Monk's art, bro, it's crazy.
Is that it? Is that the
Yeah.
two?
That's the 3D.
So
yeah, the
This was a
original was
derivative of
pixelated
Thug
though.
Birds. This
Yeah.
is a
Original
derivative.
is-
Yeah, it'll show some pixel ones. Yeah, Thug Birds
There
and
you go.
SMB.
Yeah, I had the chains and the blunts were the ones I was stacking for the longest, bro. I made some good flips off of Thug Monks too, bro. This is
These went to
awesome.
like 10 or something, right? When Sol
Yeah,
was like
dude.
200.
And it was back when Solana was almost like $200, bro. I was like, it was killing.
God, I miss those days so
yeah.
much. Can we just send it back now, please? Like, I'm
I know,
tired
right?
of the trading for like lunch money stuff. Once we go back to 100, dude, I'm in, bro. Let's go. Like $100 Sol. God bless. We had it so good.
Yeah, we'll be flying to see each other on private jets.
Yo, yeah, he never lied, dog.
All right, cool. Thug Monks. I'm definitely gonna be looking at some monkeys. I totally forgot about these things. So
Oh, you know what? Could I ask you a quick question? What do you guys think about the castle? The Kings, the castle. They're building that whitelist marketplace. It's the UI UX is very similar to Blocksmith Labs, except they're allowing like SPL token trades for actual Discord roles instead of like having to do it like in a weird way to be on blockchain. The only reason I'm asking because the accumulation they had from 1.89 Sol to 3 Sol was insane. Like, so who's buying that? I saw
Which
the UI
project is
UX
this?
in the
Say the
Discord.
name.
It's the Kings, I think, on Magic Eden.
yeah.
In hyperspace, I think it's the Kings. So I've had these, but I'm watching them, and I read the white paper, and the white paper looks cool. They have a cool art coming for the Queens, which is like a 222 collection. I don't know. So this is one I have my eyes on as well. Something like the Thug, like will this next collection drop? And like this has like a liquidity type of deal. Like I don't know if it could steal any market share from BSL and actually be decent, and you can go and sell a Discord role or something like that in a safe manner. I feel like it's got legs. But that's
Well-
very speculative. I'd read the white paper, look into it. You know what I'm saying? I'm asking your guys' opinion because I'm not saying I'm right or wrong here. Just curious.
The only thing that I would say, like, it sounds good. However, we're in a bear market, so unless whitelists are popping off, you're not going to see a return.
Yeah, 100%.
However, if like the market turns around, and like I think it's a great play. That's the only issue from what not even issue, but only critique that I have on it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I think
guess the time to buy these would be when whitelists aren't popping off, right?
Yeah, so like now.
yeah. So I mean, like I think okay. So when it comes to these mints, because it didn't mint too long ago, right, Joe? I mean, it was like what 2-3 weeks ago.
I can't even remember. Yeah, I think it was only like I think I minted each one for like 0.8 if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, well, it's really good return. So I always think of most of these mints that aren't like absolute star-studded blue chips. Like, I mean, Critters Cold is probably the most recent example where we saw whitelist tokens literally trading for 10. 3 sold mint goes up to 20s, mid 20s in the bear market. That was probably the most, obvious play, but I always think of it like this. BSL just has some of the best whitelist management and everything like that. Then I'm going to say Botheads is right below that. And I think what Botheads is doing is a really cool thing where Papa Mumu's finally using his like true connections in the one-on-one space where he's getting like, I just secured a low fronts, whitelist spot with Botheads.
For the additions coming out?
I got Clanosaurs. I got Popheads is another one that, like he gets all these allocations. So you have to really look at like what whitelist they're getting in order for it to be valid. So for me, I think it's in the speculation phase where it's like, it sounds really cool and all that good stuff. But until they prove they can get all these hype whitelists, I would take the money and run personally. But I mean, like that's a 4X, dude. Granted, I don't know enough about it. So maybe they have some other cool stuff cooking.
Yeah,
but
I think that's great advice, though. That's great advice, Bison.
Wait, are you saying that they are getting? Aren't you saying that they'll let people sell their Discord accounts? That's what you're saying they'll do, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little different. Yeah,
if you look, I mean, it's just off of sheer volume play. Like I've never seen someone come in and buy up 92% of the supply in that range, in that veracity there, and like people are spending like 9-10 sold. I just don't understand. So I've read the white paper, and the white paper was like, oh, okay, this is definitely different if they're able to pull this off in a secure manner. I don't know how they will because I'm not a dev, but like they supposedly have like 4 or 5 full stack devs on the team that are fully doxed. I don't know. I'm looking into it because it's a play where like one of those plays where either like it goes back down to my mint price and I sell for an even or a little bit of a loss, or I ride it out to double digits. But for the most part, I'm liquid, man. I'm rocking with you guys with these plays we're talking about. And Botheads, honestly, Bison, that's a good. I should probably pick one up just for like the allocations because I feel like you get every hype allocation there is. Always.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a. Well, yeah, that's just because I'm
for them most of the time.
Yeah, but they usually get a good amount of them, dude. And there's only 2,200 Botheads, so it's not too hard to get a hold of them. But like, it still is. Not everybody's getting them, so. I don't know. Like Botheads right now, they pumped a little bit, so I maybe wait for a retrace. But they're getting some like it's just like Cyber Samurai that I feel very confident because the people buying them right now are like people I know are waiting for oversized returns, not just trying to flip for lunch money, which is important. Like I know we just got Basket just bought a Bothead, and everybody loves Basket and the fellows and stuff like that. Skyhook is a prominent collector who just bought in. Like we got some really permissionless just bought like names I recognize in the space that I know aren't just trying to like sell for a soul. That's the reason I feel pretty confident in the buy. And it's one of my longer term holds. It's kind of up there with Remnants and
are they a competitor with BSL Botheads?
Yeah. Yes. But they offer their own like I think the tool is so much easier to use like outside of a Discord or anything like that. Like you click a link and all you do is you sign in with the Discord and that's it. Versus like I want to say it's so much easier because Mercury's clean, dude. It's clean. It's more or less the connections that Mumu has. Like he is the most connected dude, and I mean he curates for Big Brain Gallery. Like that is one of the biggest galleries in the space in terms of collection size. So I bet on people. I do it often. That's why I bet on Cyber Samurai. It's why I bet on, I love Stud and the team over at Remnants. Why I joined Remnants is because they mean well. They want to build cool stuff. And it's
what do you look for in honors? Like I think it's an interesting convo. Like, because I mean I'm the same as you. Like that to me that's like the most important factor probably. But I'm curious like what qualities like do you look for?
So
yeah,
can I interject real quick?
Yeah.
This is called RareFUD for a reason. It's because we rarely FUD projects. I love Papa Mumu is awesome. First of all, let me get this out the way. Papa Moo is the man. I love like what he's doing with Malbec with Moo, having some great one-on-one artists. Like that's top tier quality content right there. Love it. Great dude. My problem with bot heads is that it doesn't seem that they can scale quick enough. Blocksmith Labs is like has a large majority share, and you're right, Bison. If they're able to capture that, it's great. But Botheads has minted a while ago, and yet they have not been able to scale to a point where I'm like, oh, they can compete. That's my only issue with Bothead is that it's not scaling fast enough, and it seems like Papa's Moo skill doesn't match with the project.
I disagree with that because what whitelists have Mercury gotten lately that have been super hyped? Like, when is the last time you logged on to Mercury?
I'm not in my this point is not about hypeness of whitelist. It's about if you have a management tool, you want to make that tool accessible. Does that make sense? It's not like I don't care about the quality of mints that you have. I care about how many people are using that because that's how the value would come back to for me holding the NFT.
The value for me is getting those hype whitelists, right? So if he's got the most hype, like I got pop heads, planosaurs, and like low front.
Those are good mints. Don't get me wrong. I'm like not knocking the quality of it. It's just like and this is what I was a bot head holder, no longer. I'm still wishing the project the best. It's just that if you're not scaling your tool, in my opinion, I don't think that it's valuable long term.
Well, they're also cross. Like I guarantee you, they're going to be managing Iron Paw gangs, whitelists.
Look, that's great, man. And like I'm open to be proven wrong. And I did take a loss, and if it does scale, guess what? Congrats to the holder. I'm not complaining. It's just like that's my critique of it.
That's fair. Okay, I'm in the point where Bothead's pretty much been a stable coin for me. Like it hasn't really moved in SOL terms, but the value I've gotten out of it, being a holder, is like it's paid for itself. So
I feel you on that.
That's fair. Okay, what else are we looking at, guys? Before we head off, we've been on here for an hour and a half. This is like 30 minutes. Yeah, let's get the.
You guys know anything about this Liberty Square? So they're just announcing something big in 2 days, basically. We just don't know what it is.
over at DGen NFT or whatever the conference over at Las Vegas, right? I think they're one of the only projects that are over there, so that's always good. But I am watching that. You know, we're big sell the news people. You know, so it's always something to watch over there and just like see because. I think expectations from NFT degens, especially in Solana, is always sky high. And even if it's not sky high, they follow the sell the news thing. So like, it doesn't matter how big the announcement is. Like it almost always sells, you know, like the last time
it's like selling off right now. That's why I was looking at the chart. I was like, I thought they already announced it based on the chart, but
yeah, I think it's just anticipation. Yeah.
So they're selling the news early, I guess.
I know the one is probably, I mean, obviously Cupcake Protocol, they'll be utilizing their infrastructure, but I think there's like they're also building like Lollipop, same guys that built obviously like Metaplex, all that, DTP, all those back-end devs. They're building like Lollipop too, which is like a one-click type of service that will onboard a lot of Web 2, I think, because one click is super important for onboarding like a low entry level, like just a one-click service, which is super hard in our auto, like all these transactions, you know, that we have to approve. But I think, I don't know, they hinted at merge staking, like I could stake my Liberty with Cyber Sams and get more Path protocol tickets and more filth on both ends. Like, so I don't know if like all these are out though. These are like speculated plays. So I don't know if there's something behind it that's even more hype, or is it just like you guys said, baked in already? It's already baked in. That's why you're seeing the sell off, because all these spider-webbed ideas are kind of out in the market already. So
my speculation is that it's like a clothing or skateboard brand that they're, because like the guy always hints that he's like the people that he's like somewhat well known or like well connected, right? And like I saw that they made this like custom skateboard for Easy Eats, and their whole like fulfillment around their merch and stuff is like really well done. They have like their own warehouse and stuff. So I kind of feel like it's like going to be like, oh, we're collabing with like, not Supreme. Like that would be crazy. Maybe it is though. I honestly, maybe it is.
Yo,
like,
that would be nuts.
The guy's from LA. Like I'm just mad speculating now, but like, I think it's going to be some cool like streetwear skateboard brand thing. Like at least I don't know how that wouldn't happen, but I don't know. I just bought some,
such
bro.
a good
So
speculation.
I'm trying to convince myself. I'm trying to convince
I
myself
bought
that it's like
33 Sol worth of filth today at 17 cents because I do believe that they
I saw
want
you.
filth back in their treasury. They really want that shit back, and they're going to incentivize it back to their holders. And like, bro, like that's actually a good speculation play. Actually, to think more about like what they've been dropping. Yeah,
because I like that type of announcement. I think that's just like a really dope thing more NFT projects should do. Like something I want to do. Like and like OK Bears kind of did that with they collabed with Shopify, and then it was like another
that big marketing firm or whatever. We talked about a lot about it.
No, it wasn't that. It was like the tapestry thing. Like it was like some, I don't know. I guess it's like some popular company that makes like posters and tapestries. It wasn't as cool as like a Supreme though. Like somebody needs to get that like remember Nike? Well, they acquired Artifact, but like that was like a crazy like pump, and still is like has a lot of attention on it. That's a little different than just a partnership, but like why doesn't somebody partner with like Palace Skateboards or like Supreme or I don't know, like I don't even follow streetwear anymore. I don't even know what the cool brands are. If you guys can't tell. No, but like I feel like that would be tight.
I don't know, dude. It's gonna be very interesting to see. I do think honestly, Joe and Shake, I think part of the sell-off is just that Sol kind of looks like dog water right now and like doesn't look great. And so people like I'm seeing a decent bit of profit taking across the board. So there's definitely some systematic risk in there, but it could be baking in the news too. Like they're anticipating, they know that the announcement's going to be in 2 days and they're like, well, I'll just front run it. I don't know. I do think Liberty Square is just one of those holds that like Lotus Gang and Skidmore and some of these additions like we've already talked about that just like I really like finding the oversized returns, sub 5 Sol buys. And these feel like comfier holds to me. That isn't like I'm over risking myself like 100 Sol play or something like that. But I also am not like buying absolute, garbage at 4 Sol or something like that. And it goes to 1 or something. I don't know. Just feels comfier plays right now. So yeah, Shake. I'm in the boat where I'm kind of just watching the price action and seeing what happens. But I like
brought up a good point that volume's down across the board. I mean, a lot of profit taking, right? Like you saw that on Cyber Samurai. I was talking with Dorian yesterday. I was like, bro, our volume like fell off a cliff. But we looked at DAP Radar and like the Magic volume's like cut in half. Yeah, it's like down like 60%. So
dude, I mean that's dude, they're losing market share quick. You see it was when Lunar dropped on Hate Swap. So there's
that's a good point. I'm only looking at where can I look at all of NFT volume on Sol? Is there a Moon dashboard?
I think
Hello Moon has that.
Hyperspace pulls the volume from all aggregators that they're pulling listings from, I think.
1 minute. I will I think like do you want to see it by marketplace, Shake?
Yeah, like I was thinking of Hyperspace is good for just total, but yeah, if you have one just specific marketplace, that'd be dope. Oh, Magic Eden has that, I think.
No, they took it off. So I've been saying this
took it off,
on the
of course they did.
I said, it's really funny that they took, because I always rely on it because it was such an easy way for me to check one-on-one space, like how the one-on-one space is holding up over the past 7 days. And like, is it holding 10K? Because that's usually, our average point right there. And I noticed on the insights tab, they took it off. I was like, I guarantee you guys, they are losing more market share than they're willing to admit right now. And that's why they took it off. And I heard no response back from it. And sure enough, I see, I'll link you the site real quick. I'll put it in the chat. That by marketplace, somebody posted a snapshot of it. It was right around the lunar drop. So there's anomaly right there, but they were below 50% market share for the first time, like in over a year, like basically since they released. It was not looking pretty. Right now they're about 72% market share, which still they were taking in. I mean, they were in the high 90s%. I'll put it in the chat, the YouTube chat as well, if anybody wants to follow along, but high 90%. And now they're at 72%, and they keep losing ground to like Hate Swap and Solana Art. Solana Art's making a comeback with the 0%, right? So it is just these AMMs and 0% marketplaces that are changing the game. And I guarantee you that's why there's people who putting on tinfoil hats like, oh, Magic Eden invested in Dust Labs, they're losing market share or whatever, so they're pressuring DeGods to lower their royalties to 0%, so they get traded more on Magic Eden, so they get to get more market share, so they get their valuation up. I'm like, bro, please remove the tinfoil. Like, holy crap,
bro.
it's ridiculous.
I saw that too, man.
Bro, people are still gonna OTC for 2%. They don't want to pay the 2%.
Yeah.
So like, why? Like, it's just, I don't understand that. That's a long. If people at Magic Eden are that dumb, if that's true, then that $1 billion valuation, man, wow, I don't know.
Oh, they bought the top, dude. I think that's why I love Web3 so much, is because these big institutional investors are literally buying the top. You got the Dust people bought the top of Dust. You got Magic Eden people buying the top, literally a $1.6 billion valuation. You thought they were going to hold their volume forever? Like, we saw how fast marketplaces change. I don't know who was advising them to make that investment. Bad idea. Like, the ethos of institutional investors does not align with Web3. So even if it does succeed, like, where institutional investors want to take whatever they invest in is on a Web2 route, and it just doesn't. It will clash with the whole premise of value here. Like, it will, 100%. So that, congrats on buying the top. I'm glad I'm not buying the top in size, because their size is not my size. And I will let them take that loss on the balance book. It's rough, dude. You see it across the board though, so we'll see what happens. I'm curious to see what happens with Graphite too.
Let's go.
More bullish on Graphite, just in terms of, like, I know what they will provide in terms of like future value to the protocol, but yeah, it's gonna be really interesting to see some of these investors who invested in a bear market. I think are actually going to be the ones, like, what was it? BJ Studios or something like that, where Fast Eddie's in there as well. They got like a $10 million raise, and Exchange Art got a $3 million raise. I think those are actually going to be the ones that perform well, and they're usually Web3 led too. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of big investments. But holy crap, could you imagine the Magic Eden investors right now? They are, woo,
yeah,
down bad, dude.
You think we're
like
down bad?
No,
I don't.
At least Magic Eden is not liquid, you know what I mean? At least they don't have a token price to look at. They just have the volume.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. So yeah, volume's just down across the board. And I think what do you
guys think about the road? I mean, we kind of touched on it, but yeah, the DeGod 0%. I obviously was super surprised about that.
I think I'm surprised by it, but I also think that they saw where he was talking about, like, he saw the data, they saw where the market's going. He underestimated what the market would respond with when y'all was introduced and stuff, and like kind of brushed it aside, like, it's fine, F anybody who wants to go 0% royalties and stuff like that. But data was showing, Solana Art, I started seeing more listings pop up on Solana Art because I've been using Hyperspace for the past like 2 months, like religiously.
Yeah.
They pop up all the time. And so I think he saw, kind of what I saw, where the market's heading that way anyways. Let's front run it. Are you seeing
that for like collections under like 10 SOL, or is that a lot less prevalent?
No. When it comes to those less than 5 SOL, I saw them more on new mints shake. So people that were like trying to avoid the new mint, like, I just paid for this mint as well as I don't want to pay royalties as well. That's usually when I saw it under 10 SOL. But other than that, like, established projects mainly were traded on Magic Eden still. So once you start getting into that like Liberty Square 15-ish range and stuff, you start seeing more Solana Art stuff, and then obviously DeGods and more blue chips you saw on these 0% or hate swap or something. So
yeah, because that's what I'm wondering. I'm like, to me, I was like, I would think that it's just a function of the price and royalty percentage. It's not like royalties in general, but from what you're saying, maybe it's happening more than I think. But it kind of seemed like when he announced that, everybody like was tweeting like royalties are going to 0, and Magic Eden still has majority share, right? And like, yeah, and then even stuff like TensorSwap does pay royalties. Like, it pays a smaller royalty. That's me personally. I think that's the future, is like 1% royalty. Yep. Because like as a trader, dude, like I want the creator to like be incentivized to pump the volume, and the price. But like, it's just such a direct way where they like get directly rewarded with new volume and price discovery.
Well, I think that's why Frank did it, is because he was like, I see the data, I see that's where we're heading. I don't want to be front run by marketplaces who kind of get to control the narrative of it and like implement their own solutions, versus if we do it as projects, we can go ahead and control the narrative, right? Like let's work on this together. Like 0% royalties. How do we feel about that? We saw the community outrage and everything like that, which is hilarious because most of us literally used our dollars to vote that we want 0% royalties. Like it was gaining market share. So, it's one of those things. Now we're ripping off the Band-Aid, dude. That's all we're doing. And so we're finding a solution faster via AMMs or, something on the contract level where royalties are enforceable. The only thing I hate is that art focused projects are going to die if they don't have royalties. Like they are the ones who deserve royalties, right? Like one-on-one artists. Like if we find a way around one-on-one artists not paying royalties to them or anything, good luck. I mean, that's whole scene, which is the lifeblood of NFTs, in my opinion, dies. So,
well, bro, wait, because I kind of disagree with you. Like I feel like they make their money from the primary sale, right?
Well, okay, so let's say their original pieces though. Like, let's talk about original John Lay. Like back when before he really got his massive sales, where like they minted for 5 SOL or something like that, and then they sold for 500 SOL. That's, I mean, because we think about it in SOL terms, right? Like our Solana one-on-one art scene is not nearly as mature as ETH or even the traditional art scene. So like Van Gogh pieces, right? That's why he was eternally poor and everything like sold later. It's the traditional art scene. It's why so many people are coming over to Web3, is because they sell at like a horrible price. Like they live at a horrible lifestyle, even though their art is goated. And the people curating the art are the ones who actually make the money on royalties. They control the supply. They control like the royalties and stuff like that. They're the ones making a ton of money on their own art. So yeah, I agree with you, because once you get to a certain point, it's like, yeah, John Lay piece, like he doesn't care about secondaries anymore because his pieces are going for 200 SOL plus on auction. So that makes sense. You're absolutely right. Like those,
but they could still do that. Like if John Lay died, right, his wife could sell sketches of his work as his estate for hundreds of SOL. Like, yeah, 100%. Like I kind of think that's how, like, I don't know. I feel like if royalties go to 0, because some people already OTC, like that's been happening for a while with one, the high price ones, like people OTC them a lot. A lot of people also say, hey, I'm willing to pay the royalty, but it already happens. And like, I don't think that it's going to kill the one. Like I was talking about this with Dorian, like the innovation, like royalties are an innovation, but I think the bigger innovation is that they can just have a 24/7 liquid market to sell digital art. Like, and that doesn't go away. Like, like they can still make bank. Cause like I saw, I think Papa Mumu or somebody or Soul Big Brain was like, oh, what do I tell my friends, like creators, to come into NFTs? And like, I'm like, well, dude, tell them that they can come and make fucking bank, bro. Like that, that doesn't change. Like, I think there's like a philosophical side of like, oh, they should get paid royalties in perpetuity, but I still think the main like exciting innovation is still there, where it's like we can speculate on, like, how many of us were collecting art before this, and then now we get to do it, and sometimes we make money, but sometimes we don't. But like we connect with artists, and like that's fun, and that's still there,
Barrier to entry as a collector and an artist is definitely lower in Web3, and I think that is definitely the primary feature, is that it's so accessible and there's no barrier to entry. But and I guess. Okay, so like think about it in that 5 to 500 example, is like when you see that 500 SOL sale, it's like, oh man, this is a really revered artist. Like the next auction he has is gonna go for 500 versus 5 or 10 or whatever it is. So I guess you're kind of right. Like, yeah, it's 50 SOL lost, and like I wish they had that, because I do think artists should capture some downstream benefit, but the real downstream benefit is future auctions. So I don't know. It's an interesting debate. I personally think AMMs are really the solution and going to be the way forward. I hope that we don't see, well, I don't want to say I hope we don't see withheld supply, because I've always believed that the best incentive a project could have is hold back some supply and be like right there with you. Like they are also holders of their own project as well as you. And so like together you're like, yeah, I want floor price to go up, right?
That's what I've been thinking too.
Yeah, versus churn, because that's all you're asking for when you have royalties, is like, You're not.
Right.
Everybody's like, well, what's their incentive to make floor price go up? It's like, no, they're not incentivized. They're incentivized to pump volume. So they just like,
yes, bro. That's the whole like announcements culture, I think.
Yeah.
Like, buy the rumor, sell the news. Like as a like, bro, like literally Cyber Samurai. It's right now. It's at the same floor price it was 1 month ago. But we've made money from. I mean, I guess some holders made money. They sold it at 14, and then they could have traded it and made money. But like as a whole, the long-term investors that we want to like reward, their bags are the round tripped to 5 SOL. Bro, but like we made money because it went up to 15 and then went back down to 5, like and chopped around.
Yep.
So
exactly.
I've been thinking that too, but I think it's right now it's just a matter of like because I've brought this up when like, oh, wouldn't this be better alignment of incentives? And people are like, oh, what? So the team's gonna be dumping on you?
Yeah.
And like I think it's the NFT market just doesn't like they're immature, so they don't understand that like that's literally how everything works. That's how DeFi tokens are, that's how stocks are. Like I like with Coinbase when they IPO'd, like they were like the early founding employees were dumping the fuck on us. Like they were dumping millions of their stock at a really high price at the IPO. But nobody's like, oh, the founders are dumping their stock. It's unfair. It's like, no, like they built something that was worth a shit ton of money. So like, why would they not sell it?
It's still curious to me, Shake. I mean, like 100% agree. I never understood. I've been saying that people should hold back like some of their supply is like treasury and stuff like that. And in their white paper or whatever, be like, hey, we're vesting, X amount of supply over 1 year. The next X is or Y amount of supply is over 2 years or something like that. Like you have a laid out schedule of like, hey, they will sell it off and maybe initial like 100 of them is for initial selling and like, yeah, they want to make money. Like, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. So I love how they always say like like they're gonna dump on you. It's like, bro, I already taken my position, if anything. And then 2, like, no, they're not dumping. Somebody else bought it. That's how markets work, dude. Like,
somebody's always dumping on somebody.
It's so silly.
I don't know. It is silly, man. And I think D-Gods got kind of fucked though because like D-Gods did this like almost like basically a free mint. Like they didn't well, actually that's not true because they raised money. Never mind. I was gonna say they didn't directly raise mint funds, but they raised them. They sold the dust to VCs, and so they did raise money. But it was kind of a free mint for D-Gods holders who had been staked, right? Like essentially for them, it was a free mint. And I think the reason Frank was able to justify that was because like they're making 10%, they're making millions in royalties, right? Like, and then now that goes away. I'm just curious to see like how it'll change how they do business and stuff. But I really think the move, like this is just obviously I'm not in his position, but like if I was him, I would just fucking put our royalty at 1% and just tell people to trade on Magic Eden. I don't think it would be as big a problem. I
don't either.
I don't know. Just for me, like, because I trade SMB and I've traded SMB a lot and I've almost always paid the royalty. And that's actually, it was like 5% on like a 200 SOL thing, right? So sometimes I was paying 10 SOL, but I was like, for the liquidity and visibility, it was pretty much worth it to not have to go through the trouble of like OTC panel. But once you're at 10%, I'm like, and then you're at 500 SOL and you're asking people to pay that much, I understand why. Like, I guess what I'm saying is the numbers were based on them having a 400 to 500 SOL floor and 10% royalties. Like, so when he says, oh, we looked at the metrics, it's like, well, bro, you didn't look at the metrics of like 1% royalty. Like I'd be way more curious about that, but I don't know. I'm just fucking, like I said, I'm not in his position, but it seems like that to me. Like there's a happy medium here. I don't know.
Yeah, he went straight for it. But anyways, we've been talking for almost 2 hours. I can see Dorian's almost about to fall asleep. He looks exhausted
dog. Hey, your boy's still getting used to this streaming life. So like we get past the 1 hour mark, I'm like, all right, I'm good. Hit that 1 hour 15. I'm like,
all right. Me and Bison had the stamina. We're like, hey, we're going all day, dude.
Yeah, I'm like,
I can do it, dude. I love this stuff, man. But no, this is why I always need to prepare myself. Shake, we should just have like a 24-hour like stream session, like like raise money for something. I don't know, dude. It would just be, we could do it, dude. Every single time I sit here and I'm like,
a bunch of guests.
Yeah, dude, we could have. I said the same thing with Easy too. I was like, I could talk to you for literally like hours on end, and I know you would talk back. So, you're in the same boat. This has been so much fun. for anybody listening on podcast, we do not normally go this long, but yeah, when you bring Shake on, you better expect for an absolute marathon. And Shake, it's been a pleasure. Do you want to plug anything before we go wrap this up?
Yeah, I got, I mean, just check out Path Protocol. There's going to be a cool announcement soon about how Cyber Samurai holders can like earn some, well, I don't want to, yeah, basically like earn like basically like a affiliate fee, right? Like a referral fee. But it'll be like an ongoing thing because Path's monthly subscription. So yeah, just crafting that up soon. And I'm excited to roll that out. And yeah, appreciate you guys having me, dude. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Glad to have you, man.
I respect all your guys' views and stuff, so it's fun to talk about the market.
Oh, dude, I can do it for days, but I do appreciate you as well. Thank you for being a true founder and not soft drugging us. I do appreciate it. Yeah, no, I'm excited to see the future of Cyber Samurai. I've been saying it for a while that this is so massively undervalued when you look at the rest of the market that it's kind of insane. So one day we'll get our shot, and I'm sure it will be sooner rather than later. But I know the stars are aligning, and nice to have you and Dor at the helm along with the other goated team members. So
dude, Dorian does so much, man. Like the project would not be the same without him. Like he's like, you know, he's like the COO, bro. He's like the COO of Cyber Samurai. Seriously,
there you go, COO Dor. You gotta put 2 O's in your name now, Dor. So you know.
I know.
Dorian of operations.
Make sure there's zeros too.
All right, guys. Well, that about does it for this episode of RareFUD Radio. Make sure to check us out on YouTube, on Twitter. We are also on your favorite podcast platforms, Apple and Spotify. If you need any more, please DM me on Twitter. But those seem to be the best ones. As well as we do have a space on Friday, noon Eastern Standard Time. This is where we get to interact with you, take any questions you have, bring you up on stage if you want to just voice your opinion, because that's what we love to hear from, and connect with you guys. We appreciate your support so much. Thank you for joining us on this absolute marathon of an episode, and we will see you on Thursday talking with Hello Moon. We have another guest on. We'll be talking with Walker from Hello Moon about the data analytics they provide, what they do on the DeFi side, and everything that's happening in the market. As always, we appreciate your time. We'll see you on the next episode of RareFUD Radio.